Okay, listen. I've got this idea, right? I recently got VR and I got Google Earth. And after I got it, I was just kind of hopping around cities, looking for a place I want to move to, which pretty closely resembles what I'm doing in real life, right? I was living in Asia. I got a remote job on American hours. I moved back to the US, and I've been moving around a whole bunch trying to find a city that I want to move into, sign a lease, invest in, and grow roots in. And it's way more difficult than I expected. Now, as I was jumping around in VR and Google Earth, I got an idea. I realized, hey, I can use this to explain why, to my family and friends and to random people on the internet, I can use this to explain why I've been moving around so much and what it is exactly I'm looking for in a city and why it's so difficult to find in America. And not only can I use this to explain it, I can use this to help you experience it, which is so much more powerful than an explanation. So here's the plan. This is going to be a 3-chapter video essay by Smitty in VR, okay, virtual Smitty. Chapter 1 is Anatomy of a City. What makes a city? Okay, that's chapter 1. Chapter 2, we're going to do some comparisons. We're going to fly around. It's basically game time. That's chapter 2. Chapter 3 I don't have a name for, but it's very important. We're just going to call it Conclusions, okay? That's not an exciting name, but please stick around, because it's important. So chapter 1, Anatomy of a City, okay? Now, if we fly out, this looks like any city you fly into in America, right? You're in an airplane, you're flying into the airport, you look out the window, you see this. Any city. Almost any city, maybe like 95%, 98% of our cities. And I know that because I've done this so many times. Listen, I was born in LA, which is where we are. Here, let's go check this out. Let me turn around. Hey. I was born in LA. And then I've also lived from there. We lived in my family as a kid, lived in Casper, Wyoming, like many different places in LA, Houston, Texas, Lafayette, Louisiana, Anchorage, Alaska. I came back to LA for university. As an adult, I've lived in a couple different places in LA, Torrance, Anaheim. I know that's not really LA, but just chill. A couple different places in Torrance, actually. I've lived in Houston, Texas. I've spent time in Santa Fe, Tulsa, New Orleans. So I've been to many different cities. I know that this is a familiar sight to us, right? You fly in and you're looking at this. So let's talk about the anatomy of a city. What makes our cities? Well, the majority of the land looks like this, right? This is where we live. We have to have places to live. Therefore, the majority of our land looks like this. This is a neighborhood. It's calm, quiet, and this is a very pretty neighborhood. Man, look at that tree. It's beautiful. Right? This looks like the vast majority of neighborhoods in America. I don't know where this is. This is just some random place we dropped into. It's calm, it's quiet. People don't walk around. Oh, except this guy. Terrible timing, my dude. Generally, people just stay inside their homes. And then when they do need to go out, they'll drive, right? Because you have to get somewhere to buy groceries and get food. So where do these people go to get groceries? Maybe they go over there, but they're probably not going to cross a highway or whatever. What is this? train tracks in LA? What the heck? I remember this place from Grand Theft Auto. But let's see, where are these people gonna buy groceries? So probably they'll go to like a commercial center, right? Maybe over there. Oh yeah, dude, here. Maybe here? Yeah. And this looks very familiar to you also, because I've seen this in so many cities. This is a commercial area. I just punched my TV. Let me get back into center. Okay. There's usually a big box store, maybe a Target, a Walmart, some grocery store, surrounded by little stores and restaurants. Now, usually this will be on both sides. Here, they actually have houses here, which is strange. Probably these are houses. These people are very lucky. But usually in a commercial area, there's not going to be that, right? It'll be something like this, maybe? Yeah. This looks like anywhere USA. It's a pretty building. Right, this is the commercial zone. We've all seen this place 1,000 times. Okay, so, anatomy of a city. We have the places we live, residential zones. The places we buy stuff, commercial zones. There's box stores, parking lots, mini malls, you know. And then cities also have the downtown core. And I don't know about you, but this has always been my favorite place to go in any city I've been in. It's fun, you know? Sometimes I would need to come here for work or to do some official stuff like get a new visa for some country I was going to. And I would just stay here all day because it's fun, man. I guess part of the reason it's fun is because it's so different. Let's go see what this looks like. Yeah, dude, downtown is fun. I mean, is it a little dirty? Sure. That's what happens when you pack so many people together. But it's fun. There's energy here. All the people walking around, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, lordy. Okay. Yeah, there's energy here with all the people you're interacting with because everything is so dense. So when I would come downtown, I would just park the car and then forget about it for the whole day. And just walk around. I would go do my business, come out, and then walk around, because you can find everything downtown, right? There's these tall buildings. There's just stores. They're so dense. You're walking around and you're, you know, passing by people. It feels like you're walking through communities. Not just empty streets, but you're walking through communities. Like, this block has this feel, that block has that feel. And you can find everything. Like convenience stores, restaurants, clothing, groceries. Everything you could possibly want. There's such a mix, too, of people, you know? There'll be the rich people coming down from the high-rise buildings, passing by homeless people, middle-class people, lower-class people, upper-class people, all mixed together. Now, is that all good? Obviously, we don't want homeless people. They should have homes. But this is where homeless people generally are because, well, this is where they can walk around and do stuff. Right? If someone's homeless in a place like this, you know, what are you going to do here? Walk 30 minutes every day to get groceries? Or whatever you get? Or, I mean, imagine being homeless here and trying to find some kind of support system. Impossible. it's in the city. So that, I'm getting distracted. Okay, so let's go fly around. Oh, and by the way, I just ruined that a little bit, but if someone lives in one of these residential zones, how do they get downtown to this core where we have fun and do business? They're gonna get in their cars. They're gonna find a highway. They're gonna get in their cars and drive off to the highway. Another staple of our cities. And they'll drive all the way down there. They'll go to their concerts or their bars or whatever. And then they'll get home by, well, you know, we don't talk about it, but somehow they have to get home after all that drinking. Look how much space golf courses take up. Isn't that insane? Is this a golf course? Oh, it's a graveyard. Oh, my bad. It's a cemetery. Much respect, okay. Still, you're taking up a lot of space, dude. Wow. It's a lot of cemeteries. Let me find a golf course, though, because they are absurd. Dude, is this like Cemetery Town? What is going on? Yeah, dude. Here's a golf course. Look how much space that takes. It's huge. It's huge. Look at this. It's like multiple blocks of neighborhood. All right. Okay. So now, let me just really quickly. This kind of blends chapter 1 and chapter 2 as we're going to start doing comparisons. Let's look at some other cities I've lived in. Houston, Texas. As soon as we drop in, we see the similarities, right? Got the downtown core here. We have our residential zones. If we drop into any place here, it'd be very familiar. These are the places that we live. And we have probably our commercial zones. Oh, yeah, for sure. Our Whole Foods, what is this? I don't know what that is. But yes, our commercial zones. It's a very similar anatomy. We should all be familiar with this because I know that the vast majority of us live like this. Recently, also, I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I drove up there legitimately thinking I was going to move there. Just look like, I don't need to zoom in, right? You can already see what it is. There's vast areas of residential zones. Probably a commercial zone, possibly industrial. Definitely a commercial zone. And then where's their downtown? Right here. So here's the downtown in Tulsa. And I went here thinking, you know, it doesn't matter how big or small a city is, as long as I'm downtown, it should be convenient to live in. But look at the downtown in Tulsa. Dude, it's like all parking lots. It's like the prime real estate of the entire city, the most valued, expensive real estate of the entire city. And they're devoting it to parking lots. That's insanity. And by the way, the zoning laws in Tulsa are so strong that if you're downtown, there's not a single grocery store in the entire downtown core. There's one dollar store around here. In fact, probably right here. There's a dollar store there. Okay, so Chapter 1, and oh, that's dizzy. Chapter 1, Anatomy of a City. Our cities have the residential place where we live, the commercial zone where we buy stuff we need, and the downtown district, which is for like fun and business and all that stuff. So this is how we live, right? This is the anatomy of a city. And I've lived, again, in many different places in LA, Casper, Wyoming, Anchorage, Alaska, Lafayette, Louisiana, Houston, Texas. I've visited Santa Fe, New Mexico, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Detroit, no, that's to Chicago. Detroit for a very short time. I'm in Seattle currently. That's pretty much it. I have not visited our different cities, which are kind of like around here. But for me, the first time I experienced something different, I was in LA. I just finished college. It was 2008. The economy was collapsing. I could not find a job. I wanted to travel. I had no money. I got a degree in English. You know, oops, you live and learn. So, I decided to get a job teaching English in South Korea. That kind of started my career on a path where I had skills that could get me jobs in Asia. And also, I'm just very location independent, so I was okay moving to other countries. So since then, I've lived long-term in South Korea 3 times, China 1 time, Thailand 2 times. I've visited very, very short-term Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong. I think that's it. So, Chapter 1, Anatomy of a City. Chapter 2, we're going to do some comparisons. So moving to Korea was the first time I experienced something different. The first time I went, I moved to Seoul. Now, Korea does not have the 3D buildings that rise up in Google Earth, unfortunately. So let's just choose some absolutely random place and drop in and see what the anatomy of their city is, right? And it's a big city, right? This is a very, very large city. So I'm going to look up, point my hand, and choose that is a river. So let's just go here. Whatever this is. Okay. Anatomy of a city. What is this? Residential? Commercial? It's certainly got tall buildings. We're definitely seeing apartments for where people live. We're also seeing a lot of foot traffic. Why? Huh. Well, now we're seeing the places people live and the shops where they need to go. The places where they need to go to buy things. Grocery stores, restaurants. I mean, here's like a tire place. Look at this place. Oh, no, this place. So never mind just the ground floor being dense with shops. Look at this place. It's shops on top of shops on top of shops. If you live here, never mind driving somewhere. You don't need to drive anywhere. Never mind thinking it's convenient because you can walk, 20 minutes and find a store. If you live here, every single block has everything you need. Look, this is the major street. Let's go down here. Just some minor street. Still, people living, probably. Shops. This is a convenience store. People living, shops. People living, shops. People living, oh, it might be business. Shops. Ooh, grocery store. Nice. People living, shops. People living, shops all over. Let's go to Busan, South Korea. So I actually lived a couple times in Seoul. And Korea is a pretty small country. It only has one major city. Seoul is where everyone wants to go in Korea. So Busan is the second biggest city, but way smaller than Seoul. Even so, let's just drop into some random place. Hopefully not on a mountain. Even here, just some random place in a much smaller city. The places where people are living. And even here, there's shops. This is, I believe, a pharmacy. Shops all down here. Shops all along there, all along there. The places where people live, mixed with the places that people need to go. Is this a bar? You guys have a bar in your little town? And you can see evidence by it, but, you know, people are walking. Where else did I say? I also lived in China. Oh, I got new rewards. I also lived in China, but unfortunately, we cannot drop down into China because it does not have Google Street View. This might not be totally fair, but let's just go to Taipei, Taiwan instead. Okay. So I think this is probably the main course. I'm going to try to choose a place outside of that. Let's go to this tiny little road. Hey guys, this is really pretty. What is all this red stuff? What is this red stuff? Apparently this guy doesn't like the red stuff. But already, we see it again, right? Places where people live, mixed with the places that people need to go, with shops. And notice how every main street looks like downtown. Every main street, no matter where we drop in, every place looks like downtown. Let's see, can we even see it from up here? Yeah. Even from up here, we can see it. It looks like there's just downtown all around. So after moving around internationally a lot, what I started to realize is that my life here, where I thought I was living in LA City, or, you know, Torrance City or whatever. Let's just choose a random place. Where I thought I was living in LA City, this is not even a city, period. This is, I mean, it's a suburb, right? We know that. But we always say, like, I live in LA, I live in Houston, I live in this city, I live in this city, I live in that city. But the way we live is not even a city. This has none of the convenience of a city. To me now, after traveling a lot, it feels like this is trying to pretend like we have a rural life. This isn't the best example, but it's trying to pretend like we have a rural life with a front lawn and our back lawn and our individual house. But It has none of the advantages of a city, because it doesn't have that convenience. It has none of the advantages of rural life, because you're not really private, you don't have that freedom of rural life. It just feels inconvenient to me. That's a garbage can in the middle of the road. I had another point, but I forgot. That's okay. So do you understand now why I'm now that I have the freedom to choose where I want to live and I've had these experiences, it feels very important to me to try to choose a place that values convenience in life. So when I was abroad, I always felt that every time I left the house, it was an adventure. I always thought that was because I was living in another country and it was fun to be a foreigner. But I started to realize that the actual reason is because when we live in America, when I live in America at least, leaving the house does not mean walking somewhere and passing by my neighbors and interacting with the same little shop over and over and walking through blocks of communities. Instead, leaving my house means getting into my car and driving alone through traffic to a box store. It feels very isolated. Whereas on the other hand, well, it's gonna go back to Asia, but let's just go anywhere downtown, right? When you're living in a city, not a city, but a city, everywhere you walk, you're walking through blocks of communities and you're interacting with people. And it's convenient and it has energy. And not only that, but it's okay, so I guess I'm getting a little bit out of what I'm looking for. I'm getting a little bit more into just city design now. I'm just confused about why we're not building like this. I think a lot of us have the idea that we need our individual house because we have a family or something. But remember, people in other countries have families also, and they live in places like this, and it's fine. Some people think they need their individual house because they need an investment. However, you can buy a condo, and it's just an investment in real estate going up instead of an investment in real estate going out. So I wish we built our cities more like this, more dense and together and convenient. So I have to imagine it's also just better for the city. Like, think about how much more economically sustainable this is, where there's less infrastructure to maintain, fewer roads to maintain, to get to people, to get to stores, all the infrastructure like water, internet, electricity, all that stuff. Think about how much denser it is in terms of like tax per square mile. And speaking from experience, this is a way better quality of life. If we built our cities like this, way better quality of life. There's more housing because we're building vertically. Life is more comfortable because you can just walk out and go to where you need. And then also, if our cities were more dense and you really did want your single family house would be more affordable because the majority of people would be in this dense city and you could easily go out and build or buy your own home. I got a little distracted. So chapter 1, anatomy of a city. Chapter 2, comparisons. Chapter 3, conclusions. We're already there. In conclusion, I hope this explains why I've been moving around a lot and what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a place where I could live and sell my car and be comfortable and convenient. I don't know if I'll sell my car, but that's kind of my bar that I'm setting. I have to be able to sell my car and live comfortably. And two, more people are becoming aware of this, of the idea of walkable cities, of the idea of mixing where we live with where we need to go. I think the US and Canada have had this experiment with, everyone gets a single family house and their own grass and lawn, white picket fence. I think more and more as the years go on, we're starting to see problems with that. How this is not a good use of land. This does not build a lifestyle that is comfortable and convenient. So this stuff is starting to come up on the voting ballot more and more. And I want to encourage you, if you see it on the voting ballot, vote for things that will promote walkable cities, that will promote mixing the zoning laws of where we live and where we need to go. Speaking from experience, I promise you this makes a better quality of life, a more comfortable life, a more convenient life. It builds stronger communities, and it's just more enjoyable.